Hey, Mariah, do you have a question?
Yeah, can you teach us about Objective 95?
I can. I think you're going to like it. I think you're going to want to exercise about it.
Okay, I hope.
Okay. First thing, though, this is it titles area of a triangle. And it's something that you probably learned in middle school, but even when you get to be sophomores and juniors and seniors and even graduate, some people just never quite understand the concept of area. I can say area and you go, oh, those are the formulas. It's the length times width thing. But you don't understand what it actually means. So I hope at some point you actually figure out what area means. It's like one of the most practical things that you learn in math class that you're actually ever going to use. Does anybody have a guess of what they think I would put up there about area? Just said, what's area? And go, oh, I know what area means. That's the thing they said. That's what one of the formulas. It's like that's how we find area. But what is it? It's like, okay.
The space it takes up.
Space is something, it is about space that something takes up. It's something that you'd use in the future if you go to rent a house or to buy a house. You want to know about its square footage. It means how much floor space are you going to get. Here's the basic principle. An area comes in squares. And when I say what's the area, this right here, I mean it's all wrinkly, but this is what 1 square foot actually looks like. And what area means, and when we talk, see, we could talk in square inches, which are really small, or we talk in square feet, or square meters, square yards, square miles. A square foot is exactly this big. If I want to know the square footage of something flat, like this table, I would ask myself, how many of these square feet would it take to fill this table? So I kind of,
about 10.
if I laid it down,
No, maybe more than 10.
20.
1, 2 there, and 2 and maybe 2.5. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's like more than half. 5, 6. So
6 times
12, and then some halves. So we're looking maybe
15.
yeah, between maybe 15 and 20ish for sure. So then, would you say if I went over there to the table that Tori's at, would it be more or less?
Way more.
Way more. Way more. Or maybe, I think.
The people on YouTube probably think we're dumb because he always asks questions where it's like, huh?
Yeah, right?
No, they're probably thinking the same thing. Like, what?
No,
How
we
big
need
is
to get-
Tori's table? I don't know. Why did that one student say it was bigger and the other say it was less?
Everybody wants to know.
How many? Okay, Tori, if you were to guess, how many of these would it take to fill your table?
It's not
To
even
fill my
six.
Yeah, even
I'd
if-
say probably about 4 of them could fit at least one.
So
and then
then,
there's just like little triangles.
yeah, so then it would be 4, and then we'd have to cut one out. So it might be 5, something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
So this one was like 15-ish, and that one's like 5. You also do square feet. When I'm talking about a house, it would be like the area you get to walk around in the house. How many of these tiles would it take?
Do
to
they
fill?
really count all those?
No, there's a way that we have that's what the formulas are for. So we don't have to count them all. But what does it actually ever mean? It means how many of these would it take to fill it. And if you want to have a nice big house, you want that number to be big. Like you want like 3,000 square foot house. That's a lot of house to walk around.
Shoot for like.
Wait, what
If you got like a 500 square foot house, you're gonna be a little bit cramped.
What if your house is like all different shapes and you can't just
It's all about the floor space, really. It's like how many are on the
But
floor.
like, say the floor is like a triangle.
It doesn't
No,
matter.
yeah,
It's
it-
still counting.
Right. Here's the deal. If your floors aren't gonna be perfect squares, and Caitlin, this room's not a perfect square either. But when you get to the corners, then you can kind of cut fractions of this up. But it's basically how many of these does it take to fill a flat space? Now, and that's a foot. If we're talking square inches, I mean, that's this big. We could there could be, not 1,000, but there could be like 500 square inches on there. So it takes a lot more if you had square inches than square feet. So what is area? It's basically the amount of squares it takes to fill a shape. What size square? It depends on the units we're using. Square feet, square inches, square tiles. We're specifically going to talk about 2 today, mainly triangles, but we also need to know this one about rectangles, which has been ingrained in your mind since you were in middle school. This one you know. What is the area of a rectangle? And then Mariah just said it a little bit ago. It's length times width. If you had a rectangle and somebody said the length and the width, or if this was like a table like right here, and we knew the 2 dimensions, you just multiply them. The area is length times width. That number that you get when you multiply the length and width tells you how many square tiles it takes to fill the shape. Even if it's a fraction, like you could get 5.6. That means it takes 5 full ones and a little more than half of one more. Now, when it comes to a triangle, let me draw you a rectangle real quick that I can kind of scribble on. All right, here's a rectangle. Here's my length and width. What's the area of that thing? What's the formula? Length times width. That tells you the area. If I cut this in a triangle, I just went from here to here, and I cut it. You see that I took about half of it away? I actually took exactly half of it away. And that's where we get the triangle formula. It's basically like length times width again, but we go half. So it's half. Half the area. So when you come to fill this one out, we just, instead of saying length and width on triangles, we got a base. We'll lay one part of the triangle down flat, called the base, times the height. But the area is 1/2 base height. Because a triangle works out to be half of a rectangle. So there's your two formulas. If you got a rectangle, length times width. If you got a triangle, 1/2 base times height. You're going to see how easy this is on the first one. Let's come down to the first one. And before we even start, I think last hour I asked this at the end. Before we even start, can you tell me what kind of rectangle that, or rectangle, what kind of triangle that is?
No, isosceles.
Isosceles, 13, 13. 13, 13. It's isosceles triangle. Not that it matters for this problem, but it is isosceles triangle. We need to know what the base is. What is it?
24.
Yeah, 24. And what's the height? 4.3. We didn't even use the 13s. They're just extra information in there. If I wanted to find the area, it's going to be 1/2 times what?
24 times 4.3.
24 times 4.3. Somebody put that in the calculator. 51.6. 51.6. Now you see how all these dimensions are in feet? So our answer, if we're saying what is the area, that's why we say feet squared. Because what is area really?
Square feet.
What does area really mean?
Square top.
How many square tiles it takes? And in this case, we're talking about tiles that are this big. Square foot tiles. Sometimes you'll talk about square inches or square centimeters or what. There we are.
Wait, what does that say? A times L?
Area equals
1/2 times 24 times 400.
1/2 times 24 times 4.3. All right, this one right here. The difference is your base is still right here. Your height on a triangle. To find the height of your triangle, it's not, you don't go from the peak and take the slanty height down. You go from the peak and you drop straight perpendicular to where the base would be. Like the base stopped here, but if it continued, we drop straight perpendicular down. So the height, even though the height is listed outside the triangle, it's still 7.8. If you knew this length and this length, you need to understand which one, this is not the height.
That's, yeah.
These are the sides of the triangle, yes. But the height is actually from the peak straight down to the ground. So what we end up getting is area is 1/2 times 2.8 times 7.8.
Equals 10.92 centimeters squared.
10.92 centimeters squared. Notice the units are different there. So that's a smaller triangle because we're talking centimeters squared, which are this big. Really small units. Okay, on that, this is what 4 out of 5 problems look like. So when you get your objective 95, you're going to whiz through like 4 out of 5 of these really quick. Be like base, 1/2 base height, 1/2 base height. Doesn't matter if the height's inside the triangle. Doesn't matter if the height's outside the triangle. That's it. However, on this objective, they throw in a word problem.
Lovely.
And it's always the same word problem. So it's not like you're going to go triangle, 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 word problem and not have seen it. It's this one that has to do with fabric. Okay. What it says is that you have a piece of fabric that's 35 by 43 inches. We're going to make a triangular scarf out of the fabric. Now the triangle scarf is 21 by 29. After you cut the scarf out, so our fabric is here, you cut a scarf out of it, then it says how much fabric's left. Now the one thing they don't know, they don't say, but you need to know is that when you go buy fabric, it's always in a rectangle. You don't go to Hobby Lobby or to Walmart and they cut you out like circles of fabric. It comes on a roll, they pull it out, they cut it, it's a rectangle. So what we want to know is how much area did we get when we started? So when we went to the store and bought it, we had 35 by 43. So we had a 35 by 43 rectangle. So what is our area? So remember, area of a rectangle is what?
How many square tiles it takes to turn?
One.
That's what it means. And to find it, we do, we just multiply it. So if you got a rectangle and you got the two dimensions, multiply 35 times 43. What's that come out to?
1505.
1505. 1505. And this is in inches squared. Circle that. That's what you started with. 1505. Now, just knowing that, look at answer C really quick. C is a pretty big number, isn't it? There's no way that you started with 1505, cut a triangle out, and ended with 2401. Just keep that in mind. You could even cross C out at this point. Now here's what we want to do. We want to know, okay, how big is the scarf that we took? What's the area of the scarf? Area of a triangle is 1/2 base height. Area of a triangle is 1/2 base height. So what's the area of our scarf? 1/2 times what? What's the area of our?
29 times 21.
Yeah, 1/2 times 29 times 21, or 1/2 times 21 times 29. That'll tell us the area of the scarf that we made. 602 or
609 over 2.
6? I don't know.
That's
So
what I
it's 304 and 1/2.
Oh, is that, yeah, it comes out to a 304.5 or something?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and put it in decimal, 304. You're right, guy. You got it. All right, circle that. So we started out with this much square tiles of fabric. You cut out a scarf that was this much. The question is, how much is left? Pretty simple to calculate. Start with your original area, which was what?
1505.
We had 1505 when we left the store. When we made ourselves a scarf, we took out how much of it?
30. Wait, 100.
And then the question is, how much is left? We want to sometimes know how much is left, so maybe we can calculate how many more scarves we can make, or what else we can do with the fabric. So you calculate this up, and what do we get? 1,200.5 inches squared. So that's what you're left with. Now remember, when you go to do this, you're going to have the exact same word problem with different numbers. First thing that you need to do is calculate what?
The original area?
Calculate the area of the rectangle. Then you need to calculate what? The area of your scarf. You got your area of your rectangle, your area of your scarf, and then how do we finish it? Subtract. So your rectangle minus your scarf, that's how much is left over. That's the hard problem. So if that's not a problem for you,
I guess it's not kind of hard.
yeah, then you should be in good shape. And they threw that in there. Everything else, 1/2 base height, 1/2 base height, 1/2 base height. All right, that's it. Let's get started.